No, 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 no heroes. Woo! No, 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 no heroes. No heroes, baby.
Hey everyone, welcome to another No Heroes Top 32 breakdown. This is going to be going over the Treasure Cup that was hosted this last weekend, over 900 players, and it was also live streamed on the No Heroes Twitch account as well. If you guys don't know me, I'm the Eggman. I'm a content creator for the One Piece card game, and we have my website here, Eggman Events, which will have all the topping lists from this event as well as previous events, and should be a really good resource for you guys. So thank you to No Heroes for letting me do their breakdown for them, and let's jump on into it. So again, it was just over 900 players. This is pretty much like the last weekend outside of Worlds where OPO5 is legal. We do get OPO6 coming in the next couple weeks as well. And in this top 32 cut, we do see 18 Sakazukis, which also, not only has this been like probably the most popular deck in the game right now, at least on a topping side, but we also have it like the entirety of the X1, second through 10th place, which is really impressive. Maybe a little concerning, but we are at the end of this meta, so we'll see how it goes into OPO6. But we also do have 4 purple Luffys, which one of them winning the event, 4 Zoros, 3 Anels, a single Katakuri, a single Uta, and a single copy of Nami. So again, what we've been seeing where Sakazuki, Purple Luffy, and Anel usually taking up about 75% of a top cut, and then usually some red. We have some like one-ofs again with the Uta and Nami, and then Katakuri just not really consistent all the time on some of these top cuts. Sometimes it does really well, sometimes it just does all right, and I think this week it was just kind of an all right showing as well. But we're going to go over the top placing list for each one of these leaders, starting off with Andre's first place, Purple Luffy. And I think Purple Luffy has had like a really good month for at least this last month that we have in the One Piece card game for OPO5, where it's just been topping a lot of events all around the world. It's been topping a little bit more often, and just been getting a little bit more visibility. So some general changes that I've been seeing with this deck is the inclusion of cards like Missile Sunday has been a newer card for it as well. Additionally, some copies or some decks are playing Robbie, but we're not seeing in this one. The page 1 ulti combo is pretty cemented in it. Magellan is really good against some yellow decks, being able to get that reduction of their Dawn, which means that they can't get to their higher cards as fast, which is really great for you. And honestly, just everything else we've been seeing. This is a pretty standard list for what we're seeing. I think Blast Breath has been more common as like 1 or 2 ofs to make sure that we get out of some attacks when we really need to. And then Sheep's Horn, which is really good for getting rid of just blockers. Mostly Sabo, since just getting the rest of it is really great, and Sabo otherwise is not really affected by anything else we're doing in this deck. So honestly, I feel like this is a good build, and congratulations to Andre for their finish there. Next up, we have Sakazuki. So this is David's second place list for the build. And one card that we see 3 copies of, which I haven't been seeing as much in the last month, is Kaido. In a lot of situations, I think this was a little bit too slow of a card, or kind of you played it in a spot that you are already winning. But it was at 3 copies of this deck, which even when people were playing this, it usually kind of capped out at 2. So 3 is a little bit wild. But again, with this card being able to draw 4 cards in a deck that likes to use a lot of your card advantage to try to get tempo and remove your opponent's cards, being able to kind of reset all that discard that you did with this card is very strong. Other than that, just kind of what we've been seeing. If you look at the other lists for this, I know like Sanji's Pilaf is a card that I see more often in Europe compared to the North American meta that I'm a little bit more familiar with. We have our big, 2 Porcelinos. We have our Sabos, Rablucci. No copies of 4-drop Kuzan, which you do have to like make some sacrifices if you are playing Kaido. So I think that was one of those for there. And then some Hinas and some Rebecca's. So honestly, Sakazuki has mostly been looking like this. The card pool for it is kind of limited compared to other decks because you have to run so much. Like your deck space is already so limited based on the cards that you feel like you have to run, that this is kind of what it's been looking like for the last couple weeks as well in the rest of this format. So this is David's list, and congratulations to their second place finish there. Next up, we have our, this is X2, so this is in our X2s for the rest of this video. We have Mirko here with their copy of Charlotte Katakuri. And this is just a hard and fast list. We do have honestly like a lot of bricks in hand potentially. We do have like the four 10-drop Linlands, four of the 7-drop Linlands, the Thunderbolt and 200 million volts, Sparrow, and then just our good cards of Sanji. We have additional play trigger cards, including Smoothie and Cracker, and then Gadatsu. So this deck just has a lot of things to play off of your life, more than an average C on Katakuri. And the fact that we don't see any of the 8-drop Katakuri as well means that we're just kind of more aggressive, just trying to get there, which, you do have a lot of abilities to do that in this build. I do know like a lot of people don't really want to play her now, or really can't, because I think 8-drop Katakuri is needed for that deck. Katakuri itself does not need it as much, and you can see like this is a more quote-unquote budget build because it doesn't have that card. But yeah, we have so many cards we can play off our life. We have 8, 10, 18, right? 18 cards we can play off our life. So off of 5 life, we can pretty much guarantee that we get like 1 or 2 pretty consistently with those numbers off the first or second life. I would expect that to hit pretty often. And we can hope change that by using our Katakuri effect to know what's on the top. And if it's something that we want to keep there and play off our life, we can kind of keep it there as well. So again, a very greedy build, just trying to be very aggressive and get a lot of tempo from them hitting your own life. And I think it really paid off. So here's Mirko's list there. Then next up we have Zoro, which has been doing, I think, a little bit better in Europe compared to North America based on the results that I've been seeing. They've had a couple events in Europe specifically where Zoro is like the top 3, like in the topping list, and was doing very, very well for this event as well. This is, as we've been seeing it, very low to the ground, aggressive decks. Something that you're able to take advantage of Sakazuki is that if you are fast enough, if you're aggressive enough, they won't really have enough time or resources to clear your board or get out of your attacks. The fact that the deck likes to survive by just hiding behind some Rebecca and Borsalino blockers means that if you have cards like your 5-drop Luffy or your Diable Jambe, being able to use either of those to bypass the blockers, you do have some really good advantage and pressure. And they're going to be like pushed down to 1, I feel like, 1 or 0 life pretty quickly, because again, they are a 4 life leader, and they can remove your Zoro after you play it, but it's a card that already got the value. Marco, same kind of thing. Outside of Houndblaze, you do get some recursion from this, which is really great, and you can get rid of like their Rebecca's really easily with this, or their brand news, which means they kind of lose some value just inherently by playing these Marcos too. So honestly, I think a good build against Sakazuki. I know it struggles against other stuff, like Anel, personally, I think is a really tough matchup for this deck, but it's still in a good spot. It does also do pretty good against Purple Luffy too, and which obviously was around for this tournament as well. So don't have much more to say, but congratulations to Luca for their topping finish there. And then we do have next up our Uta player. So this is our single Uta player. This is Juan with their build there, and this is a newer deck for this format. It only was legal for this last month of it with the introduction of Star Deck 11, which wasn't like a super big Star Deck in the fact that it only had a couple new cards compared to other starters, but the cards that we got were really great. Uta is a fantastic leader for the film archetype, which is pretty much like leaderless for the last little bit. It has been good in Yusa's Kid, but without Uta around, like, or out having like a specific leader, it didn't get like the more advantage that other archetypes get. So being able to get that additional draw from Uta, and then also still being able to run cards like I'm Invincible to quote unquote turn your leader into a Yusa's Kid leader is fairly strong, I think, in a lot of ways. We are kind of tempted to run a lot of just film cards, so we do run a total of 40 of them, with our 10 non-film cards being Izo, Yusa's Captain Kid, and the zero cost event. So I think that Kid is probably the better of the two top-end cards that we can run. I know some people play Don Quixote do Flamingo, but being able to use this card to help us in matchups where, like Yellow, where they don't really have a good removal for this card all the time, and if they put you to 0, you have just a lot of cards in hand to defend this Yusa's Captain Kid. I think that's helpful for the matchups a lot of the time. And yeah, it's just like a really consistent deck. You get a lot of card draw. You're able to put a lot of cards on board. Sometimes you're able to kind of out tempo the Sakazuki player, which is really great. And it's really consistent. Obviously, it's been consistent and splashed in so many decks already that now that it has like a home for the archetype, it's in a good spot too. So not much more to say. Congratulations to Juan for their finish there. And then next up we have Luigi with Nami, and this is the build for Nami. If you've looked at any build that has topped any event, essentially since like OP04, it looks like this almost every time, right? Like I say, like Sakazuki's like 45 cards the same most of the time. This is like 48 cards, if not like 49 on average. So there is like a couple like choices on like if you run 2Ks or how much of like the Impel down package you run, but it's in a really good spot. I know a lot of people play Opus just for like potential to like look top five, even though it's kind of a negative for doing that at times. We have a lot of cards that just activate in our life to draw more cards, like Impel Down All Stars. There's also the Sanji's Pilaf, Desert Spada, all that very good for you. And yeah, Nami's just been around. I think it's going to continue to be around, kind of in the background, get the occasional top here and there. I don't think it's going to be doing super well at any given moment, but it is kind of a deck that will, if the meta is too slow or if people aren't remembering how to play or respecting that this is a deck that's around, you can get some free wins every once in a while from that too. So this is the list from Luigi. Congratulations for their top 32 there. And to round it off, we do have Anel, which did get a couple spots. This is Ivan with their copy of it. And, Anel's been around for the entirety of OP05. It's been up and lows, I think, for the last little bit of, like, one, it did win, like, the Card Fest finals in North America here, but I don't think it's been doing super well. In other regions at times, it's just been, like, a bit of a weird force for us. So some specific choices from Ivan's build is that we do have, like, 4 copies of the 7-drop Anel, which is really aggressive and also kind of shows, like, the same thing that Jonas built in the Card Fest finals here in North America. It is a really, really good card to play on curve against Sakazuki because they don't really have a great way to remove it. And you get the rush potential. And because you usually go first against Sakazuki, that's really good for you too. 3-4 split between Katakuri and Yamato, which I don't think you need 4 of the 8 drops, so I think that's fine. I do like El Thor. Sometimes it's a little expensive or tricky to find the space for this card, but it does help you in a lot of matchups where you're able to just be a 4K for 1, and because of that, you're able to defend like your Yamato when they didn't think they spent a lot of Dawn to go over attack over your Yamato. You play this 1 Elf Thor and you get out of it, which is really devastating a lot of times. The other kind of unusual ad, or just not as meta, is the couple copies of Charlotte Cracker. I know some people kind of swear by this card, is it's a really good card to hit off your life and being able to pressure your opponent, because for most of the game you should be below what their life total is. But it's fine. I'm not a super big fan of this card, but I do know some people swear by it, so it is there. And I think that's really it. We do have like some Sanji, some Shuras, and just kind of like the regular stuff to round it out, like the Omen Holy. So that is the build here. Congratulations to Ivan for their finish there. And that's going to be it for this breakdown. Again, thank you to noHEROES for not only running the event, but for letting me do this breakdown for them. If you guys want to see these deck lists and any others, make sure to check out my website, Eggman Events. And again, thank you to noHEROES. So that's going to be it from me, the Eggman. I'll catch you all next time.